What's up, guys? Welkom terug bij weer een nieuw avontuurtje, een nieuwe aflevering op mijn kanaal van Kingdom Come Deliverance, aflevering 21 inmiddels. Ik hoop dat jullie er allemaal zin in gaan hebben, want ik ga vandaag rond een uurtje of, wat is het, 7, een borreltje doen met de priest. Blijkbaar bij deze tavern ook. Ik sta precies goed. Ja, ik sta precies goed. We hebben met hem afgesproken in de vorige aflevering namens de wetten van God. Nou, is deze... Wow, stap gewoon door mijn paardje heen, de beleven van deze plek. Trouwens, Uzhitz spreek je uit echt als Uzhitz. En niet als U, maar echt Uzhitz of zo. Het zal wel. Maar goed, de priester weet dus sowieso meer van Limpy. De guy waar we allemaal info over willen weten om de Neuhof-rampen op te kunnen lossen. We willen veel meer weten. En ja, die Limpy zelf kan de vragen niet meer beantwoorden, want die is op brute wijze opgehangen in zijn eigen huis. En nu weet de priester wat, maar mag hij het niet vertellen van God. Dus doen we het in deze aflevering 21 onder het genot van een drankje. Even kijken, zie ik de bailiff hier ook ergens? De priest bedoel ik. Ik ga maar gewoon zitten. Waar de fuck is die dan? Uurtje wachten nog? 8 uur wachten dan? Het zal wel. In ieder geval, wow. Klaar voor gebruik. Dank jullie wel voor alle support tot op heden. Ik hoop dat jullie gaan genieten van deze aflevering. En daardoor een like droppen om de serie te supporten. 8 uur 's avonds. Tijd voor een drankje met de priest. Alright guys, waar ik achter ben gekomen is dat de priester echt wil dat de zon onder is. Dus dan wachten we tot 9:30. Dan begint het toch wel echt donker te worden. 9:30, priester alsjeblieft, wees in de tavern zodat we dit kunnen bespreken. Onder het genot van een glas bier, wijn, weet ik veel wat. Ja, drinken wilt als je me maar info vertelt. Maar hij wil echt dat de zon onder is. Wat natuurlijk het allemaal vrij mysterieus maakt. Nu is de zon daadwerkelijk onder. Alsjeblieft, wees hier. En hij is er.
Here, enjoy.
Het is echt laat gewoon.
I'm sorry I can't tell you everything. But maybe we can work something out. But first I'd like to hear something about you, my son. With whom do I have the honor? Where are you from?
I'm from Skalitz.
Oh, I'm sorry. What about your kin?
They're dead.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that. Here, we'll drink to them. It must have been terrible.
And it definitely was, man.
It was terrible.
Ale for me.
It seemed so pointless.
Coming right up.
We had no warning. They just appeared and began the slaughter. God knows why. They killed anyone who didn't make it to the shelter of the castle. My parents, my girl, even the Deutsch who was on Sigismund's side. I didn't make it to the castle. I wanted to try and help my parents, but there was nothing I could do. Then I fled to Talmberg with the Cumans on my heels. They almost killed me. They slaughtered people in the surrounding villages. There was a pile of bodies in front of the church in Rovna. Folk who tried to take refuge there, but they...
My poor child. May God grant them eternal rest. And how did you come to get this assignment? I'd have expected Sir Hanish to send that old grouch, Bernard.
He did, but I found a witness and the trail led here to Uzhitz, so he sent me here to follow it up.
Ah, well, congratulations. It's nice to see someone using their head to find things out instead of torture. We'll have to drink to that. Now the most important thing. What actually happened at Noyo? The good folks here about are saying all kinds of terrible things. But I take most of it with a pinch of salt.
I'll be right back with that.
The rumours aren't exaggerated this time, unfortunately. The Neuhof stud farm was raided by bandits, but they didn't come to pillage or even take the horses. They only wanted to kill. They maimed the horses and slaughtered some people. I'm sure they would have killed more, but the bandits quarrelled among themselves and broke off the attack. And judging by what's left of our Lubosh, they're still settling accounts.
I see it's every bit as bad as people claimed. Dreadful. Well then, here's to those poor souls who had to die so pointlessly and so terribly.
I've told you all about me. Now it's your turn, Father. You don't look much like our parish priest at home. I noticed you're pretty handy with a sword. I wouldn't expect that of a man of the cloth.
You know what they say. The Lord moves in mysterious ways.
But this is a bit more mysterious than others.
Let's just say I haven't always been a priest. Fate led me to places where affairs were settled by force. These days, of course, it's just a bit of exercise to keep me in shape.
Okay.
Well, we've had an agreeable chat, but now let's get down to business. So, about this confessional seal. Do you really want more innocent people to die?
Henry, that's not how it works. There are matters in which you can't make exceptions because if you do it once, you'll forever be tempted to do it again. If people stop believing in the church because their confessional secrets are betrayed, they won't trust anyone, and that's worse than even the most hideous crime.
I understand, but that means I've reached a dead end. Those cutthroats will strike again and I can't stop them.
Chin up, lad. I might have a solution.
What?
Here, enjoy.
If I tell you what Lubosh told me, I'd be betraying the confessional secret. But first thing tomorrow, I'll try something I think might help you.
Word of honor?
On my soul.
I always wondered about the things a priest tells his congregation. Where on earth do you get the ideas for your sermons?
Well, Uzhitz isn't Prague. It's not enough to instruct people. They have to be entertained, too. If I only read from the Bible, I'd soon be preaching to an empty church.
Our priest wasn't exactly a bard. So what do you preach to your flock about?
It has to be something topical, condemning vices, and of course describing them in detail. A tongue lashing about the two popes goes down well these days. And stories from real life, with a nice moral to them, are popular as well. Especially if they're about fornication and similar scandalous vices.
Can you give me an example?
Well, recently a priest by the name of Jan Hus started preaching in Prague, in the Czech language, and the people liked it. I hear he always has a full house. A journeyman who heard him told me what Hus is preaching, and I like the sound of it. I'm thinking about putting it in my own repertoire.
What's so amazing about it?
The preaching of Master Jan Hus about Mother Church. The lamentable wealth in which the church is drowning has turned to poison. And nearly the whole of Christendom is contaminated. Just like a flock of hungry ravens, they settled on this land to devour every grain of gold and silver. They know no mercy. Their hearts are corrupted by longing for wealth. And they shamelessly profit from everything. You want to baptize a child? Pay. You want to steal and murder? Pay and you will have absolution. What if the devil himself were to pay? Would he ascend to heaven too? With such money gained from the poor, they buy beautiful horses to ride and needless servants to pamper them. They gamble at dice and dress their whores in expensive furs. While Jesus Christ walked barefoot and had no place to lay his head.
Satisfied?
Look to your consciences, you robbers of the poor, for you are seen by God and his people too. Amen.
Well, this Jan Hus character is quite a rebel.
Oh, the congregation will love it.
I don't doubt it.
Let's drink to that.
Funny. That last bit reminds me of someone.
What do you mean? My situation's completely different. Huth preaches against the prelates and the clerics who are robbing the poor. Look at me. I don't have a pot to piss in. I'm no better off than the folk I preach to. I'm one with them in poverty and suffering and everything that troubles them. I drink with them and curse those stuffed habits in Sassau Monastery.
Holy fuck. Deze man wordt opeens wild.
Don't you think it's a bit odd when someone boozes and lives in sin with a woman and then criticises the Pope for debauchery?
No, I don't.
As you wish.
What do you think of this Jan Hus?
Here you are.
He's certainly a wise
Good
man.
help.
A little overzealous for my taste. If he got out of Prague and came here for a look, I'm sure he'd stop condemning drinking and lying with women.
Where can I find out more about his teachings?
You like it? I copied down some of his sermons. If you're interested, you can read them at my presbytery.
What do the common folk think of it?
They like it. They're happy to hear someone say what they think themselves, but are afraid to say aloud. Things that make them angry. And they're calling for change. In a few years, it'll have grown beyond control. You mark my words, the people will rise up and the church will be shaken to its very foundations.
Yeah, unless they burn him at the stake first.
Nonsense. They can't burn a master of the most respected university in Europe?
Thanks for the sermon, but I think I've been morally uplifted enough. It's getting quite late. What are your plans, Father?
What do you suppose? We have a drink, of course.
That sounds like a good plan.
I knew you wouldn't let me down.
Drink skill omhoog. Het lijkt wel standaard. Standaard veel zuipen in deze tijd.
To nie ustoi żadnej chlap. Na kraj padł dziesięć smutek, grudnie loi rano utek, niech ich małżeński majstrat, do wczera żylne staje prak. Už sej bojí svatý muži, nechtěl bych bejbě i kůži. Nám je to jedno a tak si dáme jedno a požerem si huby jako poslední den. Budeme se bavit a do rána slávit a tak vypal sudy a posaď se mi sem. Tak posaď se sem a vypal je ven. Ukaž kozy jako vozy, zítra jen tu jsou nejdem, tak nalej mi hned, až točí se svět.
Enough of this!
Bailiff, come on over here, sit down and have a drink with us.
Don't vex me again, Father. It's 3 hours past dusk, and curfew is long gone.
So what?
So, I'll have you all whipped and put in the stocks, and I'll write a letter to the bishop about you, priest.
Well, nothing to worry about then. Everyone knows the only one around here who can write is me.
Enough! Men, throw them out.
You looking for a fight? Henry, back me up.
Deze avonden gaan altijd fout. Samen met de priest. Dit is toch prachtig?
Don't weak at their knees, have you?
Show what you're made of.
De trophy Sinner gekregen. Ik ben heel benieuwd wat die trophy inhoudt. Ik blijf gewoon beuken. Dat is er 1 neer. 2. Henry is gewoon nog goed in vechten, ondanks dronken zijn. Hij ook nog, de bailiff himself. De freaking bailiff himself. Een appeltje, dorkie. Hoppa. Unarmed ging omhoog. We hebben de priester geholpen. Yo, yo, yo.
Would you like to have a little ring on the bell? No sooner said than done.
I'd love to. And Henry too, I'm sure. Right, Henry?
Stop that nonsense, Godwin. Are you out of your mind? What will people say?
They can say what they like. What do I care? What do they do to me? Watch the step, my dears. Careful, you don't hurt yourself.
Godwin, you're a buffoon.
Ik wil mee. Laten we orgieën gaan. Orgie met de priester. Let's go.
Here we are. Look at this beauty.
We can't do this, can we?
Who says? Get ringing, wench.
This is wonderful.
Ah, bloody oath. And now, my dears, comes the climax of the evening.
Godwin, you old goat.
Come here. Oh.
The priest has mounted up. What do you say, Henry? Shall we take a little ride of our own?
Ik ben echt... Hij doet de geitjes na. En schaapjes in het gras. Deze priester is de meest awesome dude ever. Kijk ook hoe hard hij die chick knalde. Henry daarnaast gekke orgie met de priester van Uzhitz. Wat een prachtig vent. Hij drinkt, hij zuipt, alles. Wat is deze quest?
Well, I have to say that was a fine evening.
Dit was fantastisch.
Godwin, you beast! Get up! Do you hear me? Wake up, you drunkards!
Oh, fucking hell.
Where the... Oh, what the... Oh, who the hell are you? Oh, Henry. My great friend, Henry. Didn't we have a wonderful time?
Well, you certainly did, you old lecher. Now you better pull yourself together quick. You haven't much time. There's some water and something to eat on the table there, but if I were you, I would move my hairy arse before my flock eats me alive.
Oh, step on in my head. My guts. Oh, my poor suffering stomach. Oh, what was that woman on about? Wait, before my flock eats me alive. I've forgotten something. What have I forgotten?
Where the fuck am I? What the fuck was it?
Mass! Oh shit, I have to say mass. I gotta say mass. You have to help me.
How? You're the priest.
I can't do it in this state. Maybe the liturgy. But I have to give a sermon as well. Oh, this is a disaster. They're gonna excommunicate me.
I'd like to help you, but...
You can. You can do the sermon for me.
What? So, first I investigate a murder no one wants investigated. Then I drunkenly keep the whole town up all night. And now you want me to preach at them from the pulpit? Do you want them to burn us at the stake?
No. No, I've got it. Suppose that Sir Ratzig's protege. You just came from studying in Prague. And you want to share the words of Master Jan Hus, who you recently heard preaching there. Henry, look, from what I remember, we might have overdone it a bit last night. And if the bailiff or someone else complains about me, the bishop's gonna have my guts for garters. So I'd appreciate it if you stopped gaping at me like a stuffed squirrel and start helping.
You're mad. You're stark raving mad.
I'm not. It's a perfect plan. It's flawless. Oh! How about this? If you help me with this, I'll tell you who Lubosh's cronies are.
My god, deze priester is awesome. Deze hele questline is echt fantastisch. Dit is echt Witcher-waardig niveau. Lijp gewoon. Alleen dan vormgegeven in de buggy-stijl van Kingdom Come. Maar wat ziek is dit.
So all at once the confessional seal isn't so sacred?
Don't mock me. I won't give you a second chance.
We'll never get away with it.
Not if you make a hash of it.
Oké, ik ga keihard mijn best doen.
Well, alright. But I can't make any promises about what'll happen.
No, neither can I.
What do you want me to do, exactly?
I'll go and start the liturgy. Then I'll introduce you. You give the sermon I told you yesterday in the tavern, and that's that. No need to drag it out. If it turns out well, I'll tell you what I know about Lubos.
Christ almighty. Fine then. We have a deal.
Wonderful. Let's get to it then.
My god, ik moet een fucking ceremonie doen. Doen alsof ik een priest ben. Om deze hele nacht en avond te redden, maar dit was wel echt de tijd van mijn leven. Alright, the game just saved.
What is it?
Oh my god, girl. Hoe kan ik zin hebben in eten? Ik ben nog aan het natipsien. Kijk, ik ben half dronken nog. Ik loop nog helemaal scheef. My god, ik loop nog helemaal scheef. Ik ben echt helemaal aan het natipsien wat ik al zei. En ik moet de ceremonie gaan geven. Oh, ik lig al dubbel van tevoren.
Never show up. The swill pop.
Look at him. He can hardly walk after his capers last night.
You were with them, you beast. Just you wait.
Look at him. Mother of God, any minute now he'll throw up.
So I couldn't sleep a wink last night with all that clamor.
In nomine Patris, et Filii, et Spiritus Sancti. Amen. Accepit panem in sanctas ad venerabilis a manus suas. Hoc facite in meam commemorationem.
Hey.
Brothers and
lovely.
sisters.
Ik heb haar even geknald.
You may have had the honor of meeting Henry from Skalitz, who is here at the behest of Sir Hanush to investigate that heinous crime at Neuhof. You might not know that Henry recently visited Prague, where by the grace of God was able to hear Master Jan Hus from the esteemed Charles University preaching. I've managed to persuade Henry to stand here today in my stead and tell us what he heard. Because, as you all probably know, Jan Hus is a very popular preacher in Prague. So Henry, you may begin.
Now I'm curious which one of them will puke first.
Oh, ik moet waarschijnlijk de dialoogkeuzes maken.
Brothers and sisters, let me get straight to the point. I'd like to talk about the church and how corrupt it is.
That boy has a cheek.
One should not believe in the church, because the church is not God. God is above all things, and the church is but a means to salvation, which the prelates do not care to hear.
He's right.
It is the corruption of God's pastors here on earth that has brought misfortune on our heads. Plague, enemies, injustice, hunger and chaos, failed harvests, fires, floods and other catastrophes. And it is all due to the corrupt servants of God who do not practice what they preach. They think sins can be washed away by money, and they sell indulgences, and that's bad. Because sins cannot be redeemed with silver.
Prague didn't do much for his confidence.
And what sins? They live with harlots and keep concubines, even though only marital intercourse for the purpose of procreation is pure. If someone takes a woman or man only to satisfy their own lust, who seduces them to do so but Satan? And how much darker the sin if that man is a servant of the church? Who can turn his face to God, who fornicates and then puts on priestly robes?
Nothing we don't know about already.
Enough about sin, which the prelates are so fond of preaching about, and whose absolution they promise if you only pay enough coin to Mother Church. What if the devil himself were to pay? Will the bishops tell us he too would ascend to heaven? And what about those bishops? They sin without remorse, and with the money grasped from the poor for indulgences, they keep fine horses and hordes of servants to pamper them. They play dice and garb their mistresses in expensive furs, while Christ, the Lamb of God, walked barefoot and had nowhere to lay his head. Look to your consciences, you robbers of the poor, for you are seen by God and his people too.
Down with the prelates. Away with them.
We're fortunate to have our good father Godwin. At least he's a fair and simple man.
I say to you, in the words of Jan Hus, he who knows much, let him speak much. He who knows little, let him speak little. Let each speak as much as he knows, and he who knows nothing, let him at least teach his neighbour one virtuous deed by setting him good example and refraining from playing dice and from fornication. And that applies both to priests and to you, brothers and sisters.
That's his conclusion?
That is all I heard in Prague. Amen.
Oh my god, ik heb mijn best zo hard gedaan en ik heb geen idee of dit een goede of slechte uitkomst is.
The lad spoke well, considering what a soak he is.
He's right, that Hus.
The young man shouldn't drink so much, but the Lord's given him a
I'm
silver
glad he
tongue.
came here. I don't suppose I'll ever get to Prague, and he told it nicely.
Well, well, my boy, you have talent, and I can't deny it. And you pulled a thorn from my side. I almost didn't make it.
Yeah, I noticed. But I wasn't the only one.
Oh, what's to be done? I'll make it up somehow.
So, about our bargain.
Although it's a sin.
So gluttony and fornication.
God does forgive a penitent.
So, what did Limpy Lubosh tell you? Was he at Neuhof that day? Who was with him? And where are they now?
Now slow down. I'm sorry, but he didn't tell me that much.
Don't let me down after all I've been through. For you...
Well, now Lubosh came to me shortly after it happened. His conscience was gnawing at him. And I must say, in the end, he turned out to be a better man than he looked. He said they'd been hired through some crony of theirs. And at first they were just to steal some horses. But then it all turned sour and people started getting killed. And neither he nor his cronies wanted anything to do with that. So they fell out from the gang and fled.
Fell out? Yeah, there was a body found in the woods by Neuhof.
That would explain something. Lubosh kept jabbering that he wasn't a murderer, that he didn't want to do it.
So I know that Lubosh killed the murderer and he's dead too. The trouble is, I need to find the ones who are still alive. I need names and places. Did he mention any of the others?
Only nicknames. Talked about some fella called Riki from Ledechko. Pious, Timmy.
Pious. That lot are about as pious as I am ordained.
Nonsense. You would make an excellent priest. And anyhow, with your skills, you ought to be able to sniff out this Riki from Ledechko, right?
Well, we'll have to now. There's not much else to go on. Let's hope he's not hanging from the wall too.
Indeed. And I'd hate to be excommunicated for nothing. Anyhow, good luck. You watch out for yourself. These people clearly mean business. And I'd like to raise a tankard with you again sometime.
Yeah, I'll try. Although I'm not sure I'd survive another night of your debauchery.
And if anyone should ask, you heard nothing from me. I'll deny everything.
I don't doubt it.
Mysterious Ways zojuist gecomplete. Wat een fucking fantastische questline. Dit was echt in alle manieren. Op alle manieren was dit veel te vet. Wat een enorm goede questline, goede dialogen, goede stukken tekst, leuke activiteiten van begin tot de avond tot de nacht, tot echt de uiteindelijke daadresultaten en de volgende ochtend die brakke ceremonie. Ik vond het zo fucking goed. Ik heb oprecht zitten genieten deze aflevering. En ik hoop jullie ook. Aflevering 21 was episch. Dankjewel voor het kijken in ieder geval. De likes, de support. En tot ons volgende avontuur in dit fantastische spel. Thanks voor het kijken en tot de volgende. Peace.